Hi, and welcome to Ida and Her Books. I'm Ida, and these are my books. Today I'm doing the Try a Chapter book tag. So I have picked out 5 books from my shelves that I really want to read, but I never seem to do. So I'm gonna read the first chapter of all those books now and decide which one will be my next read, and find out if there's any books that I feel like I don't want to read at all, and in that case I'm just gonna get rid of them. So the 5 books are Devil's Consort by Anne O'Brien. This is a book I've had for a while, and it is a historic fiction of some kind. I don't know very much about it, but I found it interesting when I bought it, and so I just have to read it. Next book on my shelf is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I've had this series at home for quite a while. I was gonna read the first book before the first movie came out, which is like 10 years ago, and obviously it didn't happen. So now it's on my list to read the first chapter for this tag. Next is Thieves' Magic by Trudi Canavan. This is a book I've also had for quite a while, and I am interested in it. I just seem to never actually read it. I'm never interested in reading it, so I'm gonna read the first chapter now. Next is a book I haven't had for very long, Völvans by Saga Borg, but I've had the second book in the series for like 10 years. And so I feel like I need to actually read this one as soon as possible so I can read the next one. Finally. So that is why this is on this list. And the last book for this tag is Labyrinten by Kate Mosse. This is a book I've had on my TBR twice now. And it's such a big book. It's humongous. So I just wanna get to it and see if it's anything I'm actually interested in. If not, I get rid of it. That is the books. I will be vlogging, sort of, or updating as I read each first chapter of each book. And then I will be coming back with a conclusion of what I read and what I felt. Update on the Try a Chapter tag. I just read the first chapter of the prologue, because apparently the prologue is 4 chapters long, in The Labyrinth by Kate Mosse. And I'm really not vibing with the language. I think it's really weird and awkward to read, so I'm not really stoked about that one. But that is as far as I've gotten right now. I've read the first chapter now in Thieves' Magic, and I really did kinda enjoy it. I'm really intrigued. I'm not feeling it at that moment. It's like it was really intriguing at the beginning, but by the end of the chapter I was like, can I just move on? So I'm not sure what that is about, but yeah, that is... I don't really have much thought about it, it's just a chapter. So not really excited for that one right now. First chapter also read in Völvans. I also looked this series up. There are 9 books in this series. They're not giant, but it's still a commitment. But I still kind of want to read the first 2 and see if it's a series I want to read. And the first chapter of this one was also very intriguing. It starts with action right away, and it sounds very fun. I am, however, a little bit wary of the actual story of the book, being some of the women being, I don't know, taken by an enemy village or something, and, well, you know, women get used and stuff like that, and I'm not really sure that that is something I want to read about right now. But that is how far I've gotten in that one. And then I started the first chapter of The Hunger Games. I didn't even get through the entire chapter when I sat down to read. So I don't know what that says about my feelings on this book. It's weird reading something I've seen in a movie several times. It's like I've never read this text before, but I still recognize the words almost. It's like a weird feeling. I still kind of want to read this series, but also kind of not. I don't know if it's just a reading slump that's making me not interested in anything. But yeah, I'm gonna get through the rest of this chapter soon. It was really slow when I started. So I read the first chapter of the last 2 books. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins is one of them. And I had a really hard time getting into the first chapter of this one. It started out really slow, but then by the end of the chapter things got going and I was really excited to continue reading. Even though I wasn't supposed to right now. That is a good sign. I think I might enjoy these books. For the first like 10 pages, I felt like I didn't want to read the book. I was just really apprehensive, but now I'm really into it and I really do want to continue with this book. And the last book, Devil's Consort by Anne O'Brien. This is like a political drama, I think it's gonna be. And the first chapter is really slow, not very much happens, and I'm not really getting into it yet. I think I need to read more to really get a feel for it. I do, however, ever like the main character. I think she's a very strong-willed woman. I think she is very opinionated, and I think she might be a little bit narcissistic at times, but I also think that she will be a very strong willed person. And we also met her future husband, the Prince Louis? It's France, I'm not sure. And he seems like a doormat. And I think that says on the back as well, not that it is a doormat, but that is not maybe fit to be king. And yeah, not really feeling this book right now. I think I'm gonna save it for the tome topple that I'm gonna participate in, because it's like 609 pages or something. Yeah, it's definitely more than 500 pages at least. So I think I'm gonna save this one. This book, Labyrinten by Kate Mosse, I'm definitely not reading. I'm DNFing it on the spot. I'm getting rid of it. I read the first chapter and I was just... the language was so... I don't want to say flat, because it was quite descriptive. It's just... I wasn't vibing with it. It was just not for me, and the descriptions of the main character was just... if I didn't know better, I would have thought it was written by a man. I say it like that. And I think maybe I should give it a chance and read a chapter from the other person's perspective, but I really don't like the language, so I'm not reading this one. I'm just gonna get rid of it. The last three, Thieves' Magic, Völvans daughter, and The Hunger Games, are the last candidates. This book is also more than 500 pages, so I might save this one as well for the tome topple, just because I want more books to read then. I haven't really checked on among my books which are more than 500 pages, so I don't know how many books I have to read during those 2 weeks. So I think we can save this book for that as well. And then I have these two to choose between. Which one do I want to read next? I really want to read both of them. And both of them are series, so it's quite a commitment to start both of them. And I'm not really sure. Because I have all three of these, and I am very overdue to read them by like 10 years, so I really should. But this one was also really interesting. I also had the first one of this for a really long time. But there are 9 books in this series, so this one will be quicker read like that. But also really want to read this one. I'm gonna ask my sister. I've written to my sister, she will be the judge. My sister chose The Hunger Games. Am I surprised? No, it's one of her favorite books. I don't even know why I asked her. So the next book I'm gonna read is The Hunger Games, and probably the entire series, and I'm really excited actually. So I'm very happy with my choice. I'm very happy I did this challenge, this tag. It was fun, and yeah, I'll be reading The Hunger Games in the near future, as in I'm actually currently almost done with the book, so I'm gonna finish that first. And then I'm gonna read The Hunger Games. It is now Saturday. It's been 2 weeks since I started recording this video, and I finished The Hunger Games last night. I stayed up late to finish it, which was a bad idea, but I really wanted to finish it because today starts tome topple, and I didn't want to wait to read like the last 50 pages for 2 weeks. So I decided to finish it last night, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I think the characters were compelling, and the language is really good. Because I've seen the movies and they're very loyal to the books, and I still felt like I wanted to continue reading, even though I know exactly what happens. I wanted to continue reading because the language was very, very compelling and very easy to... it grabs you very easily. And there were good cliffhangers and such. And so I very enjoyed it. What I did not enjoy as much was the love triangle. I think it was forced. I think it was unnecessary. Now we're getting into spoiler territory, so if you haven't... Ow! Now we're getting into spoiler territory, so if you haven't read this book or seen the movies or don't want the spoilers for it, come back when I put the book down, or subscribe, see you in my next video. So in the beginning of the book, for like the first 150 pages, the part 1, there is no romance. I've heard someone say that Katniss is clueless to the boy's feelings, and yes, she's clueless to Peeta actually being in love with her for a while, but she does figure it out. But Gale, the only thing you know about their relationship so far in this book is that they've been hunting together since they were like 11, since she was 11, he was 13, and that in the beginning of the book he suggests that the two of them run away and start a family on their own, and she was like, yeah, because she understands that suggestion as purely strategical. She doesn't think of it as a romantic suggestion. It doesn't read like it, and I have no sense in this book that he actually likes her that way. And as soon as she starts to think about Peeta in that way, from the moment that she can win with him, she starts to just compare them to each other. And I understand she thinks a lot about Gale because they spend a lot of time together, and Francis is back in the back in District 12 and stuff, but I don't understand why she all of a sudden starts thinking about him just because she's thinking about Peeta, and I think it's completely unnecessary. I would have loved to see just the romance being about Katniss trying to figure out if her emotions for Peeta are out of necessity because of the games, or if she actually likes him that way, or if she can even have a relationship right now because she's so freaking traumatized from the Hunger Games. But no, it had to be a love triangle. So I give it 4 stars. If it had been a love triangle, it would probably gotten 5 stars. But yeah, I really, really enjoy this book, and I'm so sad I didn't read them sooner because they're so good. I'm gonna continue the series after the Tom Topple, because the books are not long enough. So that was my try a chapter tag. I didn't think I would have time to finish the book before I had to post this, but I changed my uploading schedule, so it's fine. It was fun to read those first chapters. I did weed out a book that I didn't want to read anymore, and I'm really excited actually to get to all of the rest that I read during this tag challenge. And yeah, it was fun. I'd like to do it again with when I can choose from all of my books and see if I find any more that I might be interested in, or just like try a chapter tag with my partner's books, because those I usually don't have much interest in. We'll see when and if and when I do it again. When and if? When? We'll see when I do it again. I probably will. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I post on Saturdays and sometimes Thursdays. And I will see you in my next video.